Don't underestimate the power of a good product mock-up shot. Think about it. When you go to a restaurant, let's say a local restaurant, mom and pop shop, oftentimes the images in the menu, you can tell they are home done. They were not taken by a professional. They look a little dark and just not clean cut and sometimes a little unappetizing. But when you go to a restaurant that has clearly had professional photos taken, the food not only looks appetizing, but you are more inclined to understand exactly what you're going to get. And therefore, you might order something you may not have ordered before just because of how good it looks in the menu. That's what we're going to go over today. How to make attractive product mock-up shots for your lesson plans to make them pop. And let's make sure someone purchases your lessons over someone else's just because of a great, attractive, enticing product mock-up shot. Hey, welcome back to Sell Your Lessons. I'm Jessie, your digital marketing coach, and today we are going to go over how to create an attractive product mock-up shot for when you set up your sales page to sell your lessons. There are going to be some paid options and some free options, but by the end of this video, you are going to be set and make sure that you don't have those dark, dingy looking photos that are unattractive, but instead bright, crisp, attractive product mock-up shots that are going to have people wanting to give you their money because they can see everything clearly laid out and there's no confusion as to what they're buying. So in order to really show you how to do this, I'm going to hop into each program right here and kind of go over the basics of how to use the program, where to find templates, and how to save your files when you're done. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is grab some screenshots of what we're selling. So I have this document here and I went ahead and numbered each page with just some lorem ipsum or cupcake ipsum, which is just placeholder text. And so I want to get some images of this. Now I could file, download as a PDF and then open up the PDF and do this same thing if I wanted to try and get them just a little bigger. But I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see a full page. Let's go. And then most computers have some sort of screen grab or snipping tool. So I'm just going to do my very best to get along the outside edge of the page. Okay. And I'm okay with this a little bit just because I'm probably going to put, depending on how I use these, I might put a border around them anyway, just to define them. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and I'm just going to call it 1 for page 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and go down and save each of my pages the exact same way, just with my snipping tool, until I basically have images of each of them. Now, if you have other things like a PowerPoint presentation, or especially if you have a ton of pages, obviously you don't want to take a snapshot of each individual page, but definitely if you have a special cover, you want to get a picture of the cover and, maybe the first few pages. So go ahead and get your assets ready, and then we can turn it into a mock-up. Okay, so I have gone ahead and screenshotted all 6 of these pages. Again, if you have different types of lesson plans and assets in your bundle or whatever it is that you're selling, be sure to get some sort of screenshot of each piece so that you can have a really beefy mock-up and it looks really good. For this example, I'm just using these 6 pages, so it's going to be pretty simple, but you should be able to expand everything that I'm teaching you today to make it serve for your purpose of your mock-up. So there are a few things that I just want to say up front. There are a few different paid options and free options all over the web, and I'm just going to show you kind of a variety of both. When it comes to graphic design programs, the 2 that I use the most are Canva, which is free. It does have a paid version, but I'm going to show you how to use the free version, and Photoshop, which is paid. Now, I actually have a subscription to Adobe Photoshop I'm on the photography plan, which at this time of this recording is about $10 a month, which is really great for a program I use practically on a daily basis. It's not that bad for a software program. So if you plan on doing a ton of graphics, I would definitely invest in a platform like Photoshop or even the paid version of Canva if you resonate more with Canva, which is also at this time about $10 a month. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I am actually going to come into Canva, and I've already created just basically a blank canvas. I just went ahead and started it at about 800 by 800 pixels. Just because any mock-up that I create on a page is probably going to be no larger than that. And you always want your image to be the smallest that it can be so that the file size isn't too big and your pages don't take too long to load when people are coming to your order form and sales pages. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my uploads, and I'm going to upload all of those mock-up pages that we just took screenshots of. And I'm actually going to go into graphics, and there are different things I could find. Frames, for example, is a good one just because it allows us to add borders and things like that. And as you can see right here, right off the bat, they have different mock-up shots for, like, you can do computers, you can do phones, tablets, and you can start to see how that works. I'm going to add a new page here. I think I'm going to want just, oh look, here's like a book, if it's like a booklet. Well, I think this is good for now. Let's start here. So then I can go to my uploads, and I can just drag my pages in, and as you can see, Canva automatically resizes them. So we can see I can have different images of, and that's simple, Then you get ready, you're going to download, right? You can download as a PNG. If you want a transparent background, that's a paid version, so you would have to either have the paid version of Canva or Photoshop. But if you are working like this, if you're just working on a white background on your order form page, then this will look just fine. Let's see, for the book, pull pages in. Okay, so here on this one, what I'm going to do is pull in probably a shape and one of our pages. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this shape around here, kind of like a border. Okay, so I can use the guides here on the page to make sure that it's centered. So as you can see, this is not my best work. If I was doing this for real, I would probably take more time. I'd probably zoom in and make sure that it's even all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to grab both of these, and I can actually group them. So now they are stuck together, basically, and then I can resize them both together. So one thing I'm going to do is probably go, that's good. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate this, and duplicate it a few times. 5, 6. So now I can come back to my uploads. I'm going to pull in number 2, number 3, number 4, and you see how Canva is so easy. I'm just dragging these right over it, and it's editing the picture right there. So then I think maybe I will zoom in a little bit. Oh, I zoomed the wrong way. Okay. And then I can take these and adjust them so there's kind of a mock-up. One thing I like to do sometimes too is kind of like rotate these around just a little bit. There's a good mock-up. If I want them, you know, kind of closer together, I can do that. If, let's say that I had these, so I'm just going to duplicate these. If I had this in addition to, say, like here, you know, you can add this to your mock-up to create, you know, a more bulky mock-up. If I had different digital assets along with printed ones, you can start to build and create these mock-ups to go on your page. So this is kind of how I would do this in Canva. Let me show you an example in Photoshop. Okay, so I just searched free computer mockup Photoshop and all these mockups came up. I'm just going to select something. Okay, and then I'm just going to scroll down and say, oh, okay, well, you just kind of pick which one you like and you download. Okay, so my price for getting this PDF was to share. They had different options to share or to like, to follow them, that kind of thing. So I went ahead and did that, and then there was a button for me to start the download. That's the thing with a lot of these free templates, is oftentimes you need to do something in order to earn or purchase that template, basically. So it looks like this is a zip file. I'm going to wait till it downloads and then I'm going to open it in Photoshop. Okay, so I'm opening this up in Photoshop and I'm going to, there we go, we see it. Okay, I'm going to take off that. Okay, and it says double click to replace the screen, so I'm going to double click and it pulls up the image that's on the screen. So instead I'm going to place one of our pages. And I'm going to make sure that it covers the whole thing. Oh, I forgot to hold down Shift to make sure it stayed proportionate. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pull that up. And I'm just going to hit Control S to save, or Command S on a Mac. It's saving, and when I close, it's now, my page is now on the computer. So that's kind of another way to do a mock-up. If I were doing this for real, I'd probably choose something with more than just one screen. I'd probably choose something that had, you know, multiple screens. The computer, laptop, tablet, and you could even, if you wanted to get fancy, make a mock-up and put that mock-up shot on this big computer. So it's like a mock-up within a mock-up. I know we're getting all crazy here. So I would just save this image and that would be my mock-up shot. Or I'm just going to start a new thing here. We'll do 800 like the other one. And I'm just going to place each one of these pages. And when I bring it in, I'm just going to hit X and it places it. So I'm going to pull in, I would pull in each one of these. I'm just going to do 3 for this example right here so we can keep moving. And one thing I want to do is I'm going to add probably a stroke. So it gives just a hint, probably 1 pixel, 2 pixels, somewhere in there. And I like a little gray color. And then I usually like to add a little bit of a drop shadow as well. Just gives it a little bit of an oomph. I'll put it at a little bit of an angle here. Okay, then I'm going to right click and copy layer style. And I'm going to paste the layer style on each one of those. And you can close these so it's smaller. Okay, I'm going to hold down Shift and select all of these together. And again, holding down Shift while I resize them, it keeps them proportionate. Enter to save. And then I'm going to do one at a time here. And kind of like, gotta hit Enter to save. There we go. We got a little mock-up here. One thing I like to do on Photoshop is before I save it, I will trim, image trim, and pull this over. I like to trim the transparent pixels so it's as small as possible. And then I will save this, export, save for web, because it's just going on the web. And I would save it as a PNG, and that leaves that transparent background. And I would save it. And that's kind of how I would do a couple different mockups here in Photoshop. I showed you how you could do some here in Canva. Once you got to this point, I would, again, try to have the page size match this a little better. Or find the size of the space on your web page that you're building and create a mock-up that fits in that size. So again, you don't have all this extra space around here for no reason. So that's kind of how I would begin to make some mock-ups, either by just searching on Google or using something like Canva or Photoshop. There you have it, how to create those attractive, irresistible product mock-up shots to make sure your lessons stand out in a crowd. If this is something that you enjoyed and you can't wait for more tech tutorials, let me know in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to stick around because next week we're going to go over a topic that kind of hits a roadblock for a lot of people, which is how to price your lessons. So hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know exactly when our next episode comes out. And until then, check out some of the other videos on the channel. Hopefully you'll find some content that interests you. I hope you have a great week and I'll see you later. Bye.